guys! Welcome to the 8th episode of Zooming In with Gen Z. I'm your host, Haley Taylor Schlitz. Thanks for being here. Before we get started, I would like to remind you all to please like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe. Not only does this help you stay up on our fantastic conversations, but it allows the algorithm to do its thing so others can tune in too. If you're Gen Z, stop scrolling. You need to hear this news. TikTok algorithm's ticking time bomb. You just need to hear this quote from Independent. TikTok blocked users of its creator marketplace from using the word Black and phrases like Black Lives Matter in their bios, as the algorithm flagged them as inappropriate content. Creator Ziggy Tyler discovered the issue attempting to update his bio. The words Black, Black Lives Matter, Black people, Black success, pro-Black, I'm a Black man were not accepted. Pro-white and supporting white supremacy were accepted by TikTok's algorithms without issue. TikTok said the app mistakenly flagged phrases because its hate speech detector associated the words Black and audience, which contains the word die. Our TikTok creator marketplace protections, which flag phrases typically associated with hate speech, were erroneously set to flag phrases without respect to word order, a TikTok spokesperson said in a statement. Well, TikTok, you definitely need to get that in order. Gen Z is probably nearly your entire user makeup, and it is the exact wrong generation to mess with when it comes to issues like this one. Fix it. Overflowing inboxes. No problem. Gen Z may free the world from never-ending emails. Excited to hear what this is all about? Hear this quote from the New York Times. Members of Gen Z do seem to agree with their elders on one thing. Email. Ugh. And if we're lucky, maybe they can one day save everyone from overflowing inboxes. According to a 2020 study from the consulting firm Creative Strategies, there's a generational gap in primary work tools. The survey found that for those 30 and above, email was among the top tools they use for collaboration. For those under 30, Google Docs was the app most workers associated with collaboration, followed by Zoom and iMessage. Email is all your stressors in one area, which makes the burnout thing so much harder, the story said. You look at your email and have work stuff, which is the priority, and the rent's due from your landlord and the Netflix bills, and I think that's a really negative way to live your life. Do you guys like email or no? Let us know in the comments. If you don't, what do you like more? I personally like email. It helps me feel organized, and I understand the stress of it, and I feel that too, but I like it. Do you guys really think it's email, though? It could be the work and not the platform. Personally, I think I would be more stressed if all of my emails were texts. TikTok is testing a new Gen Z-friendly resume video feature. Will Gen Xers and baby boomers feel excluded? A quote from Forbes to explain what a friendly resume video feature even means. A company blog post laid out its vision, stating, "We're excited to launch TikTok Resumes as a pilot program designed to continue expanding and enhancing TikTok as a new channel for recruitment and job discovery." The social media site is teaming up with select companies and inviting job seekers to apply for entry-level to experienced positions with some of the world's most sought-after employers, including Chipotle, Target, WWE, Alo, Yoga, Shopify, Contra, Movers and Shakers, and many more with a TikTok video resume. Let's take a look at what one of these video resumes like. What do they even look like? Here's one of my favorites, actually, by Jade, who recently graduated from Howard University.
Hi everyone, my name is Shade and this is my TikTok resume to help me find a job. So I'm a recent graduate of Howard University, in which I received my Bachelor of Science in Health Education. I'm a member of a business and professional sorority, as well as serving as campus rep for companies such as Ethos, a student brand marketing manager for Tinder U, as well as a campus director for Bumble on my campus. This past year, I had the pleasure of serving as a marketing intern for Penguin Random House and currently as a public relations intern at Ulta Beauty. I'm also a beauty and lifestyle blogger at Law of J. Carson, and recently I posted a thread of interview questions that completely blew up and led to me creating my third ebook. I've been applying for jobs like crazy, and I'm just keep getting denied. I'm trying to remind myself, delayed, not denied, but it doesn't look like I'm ever going to find a job. So these are all the things that I'm interested in, and I hope someone finds it.
How cool is that? We found it, Jade, and we love it. You can get a job with one of these places that I mentioned with a video resume. Think about the fun you can have with that. Not only is it less paperwork, but it allows for more self-expression and personality. If you make one, share it with us. We will love to see it. I love the way we as a generation are changing the standards of and breaking barriers in entire industries. Speaking of changes in our world, my guest today is going to help me dive into a major change that just happened within college athletics. We know for generations, student athletes have worked hard and taken their talents to different colleges and universities across the nation. We all spend time throughout the year watching and enjoying college football on Saturdays in the fall or catching men's and women's March Madness. Throughout all this time, these student athletes have made billions. Yes, billions for their universities. How much of that have they ever seen? We all know the answer, 0. So while other students can make money off of their personal brands on TikTok and YouTube, if you were a college athlete, you weren't allowed to make $1. Nope, not allowed. In June, the United States Supreme Court ruled unanimously, 9-0, in NCAA versus Alston, that the NCAA could not enforce rules that limited the education benefits student athletes could receive from their schools. This put in motion a movement that would have the NCAA end the antiquated rules that forbid students from making money off their name, image, and likeness. At the same time, we have also seen numerous student-athlete groups pop up across the nation that are focused on activism and supporting social justice movements on campus and in local communities. Today, I am proud to have Division I student-athlete and student activist RaSun Kazadi join me to talk about both these important areas of student life. RaSun plays for the SMU Mustang football team, Pony Up, and is also a leader in student organizations doing important work for social justice and equity on campus and in the greater Dallas community. Thank you, RaSun, for taking time out of your schedule to join me and talk today.
Hey, Haley, super excited to talk to you today.
Okay, so full disclosure, I am a proud Mustang myself, and I'm aware and I'm always ready to pony up in support of our student athletes. So RaSun, share with us your path to Division I athletics and why you chose to attend SMU.
Yeah, well, I looked around a little bit at different schools and just like what they could do for me artistically, what they could do for me athletically, and then what they could do for me financially in the long run. I really fell in love with Dallas, Texas, took a visit to SMU, love the campus, just love that, like, you know, the area and how it was 15 minutes away from a lot of stuff going on in Dallas. And I felt like it was a really good financial opportunity and a really good academic opportunity. And artistically, if you can't grow in Dallas, then, I mean, where can you grow? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. You guys hear that? I mean, take notes for SMU. You could definitely grow in Dallas. Okay, there are many Gen Z members out there who are working hard trying to get noticed and hopeful of earning some scholarship support for college through playing college sports. Do you have 1 or 2 tips that you would share with them that you wish you knew when you were in high school?
Especially for the athletes, I'd say just keep going to camps and keep taking care of your academics. The more academically inclined you are and, like, you know, the more work ethic you show in the classroom, they're going to say that translates to the field and that you're more of a trustworthy guy. So that will definitely influence coaches to take a second look at you. But yeah, taking care of your academics and also just having fun and just knowing that, like, you know, it's about the journey. Keep playing, keep running, keep doing what you're doing. There's a reason you're there. And yeah, you'll make it.
Absolutely. I love that. You guys, make sure you're taking notes. Like, seriously, this is live. So these pearls of wisdom you're going to want to catch now. It will be saved as a recording later, but catch it as soon as possible. Okay, so let's jump into the student activism for a moment. You are a leader on the SMU campus and organizing students to engage on social justice issues. Can you share with us what motivated you to engage in this important work?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, life motivates me. So just seeing what people go through and seeing how sometimes it's harder than it needs to be for certain people, and certain groups have it a little bit tougher, and not seeing a lot of things being done to take care of that kind of helped me want to help. And just, reading, acknowledging, understanding my place of privilege made me want to help other people get to a certain place where they can help themselves and then in turn help other people.
Absolutely. Did your activism sprout from more of a social justice, human rights, and you saw like what was going on in that area, or did it sprout from your experience in athletics and your activism kind of grew from there?
I think it's one and the same, honestly. I think a lot of there's an intersection between athletics and life in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just seeing how people talk to athletes versus how they talk to, non-athletes, or how they talk to people of color versus how they talk to athletes of color, like how they're treated in the classroom. And then also, where do these athletes come from? Like, where a lot of guys are from places that, a lot of people wouldn't want to go. So just talking to them and hearing what they had to say kind of influenced me to do that and just give people, and it's not so much me doing it myself, it's giving people the opportunity and one way to help out instead of, saying this is the only way to help out. This is the only way that we're going to accomplish anything as a group. But just giving people the room to do something to help.
Absolutely. I love that. They're one and the same. You had said how people talk to athletes versus not athletes, how people talk to students of color, athletes of color. How did the greater campus community receive your activism? Have other athletes been supportive? Was there a response from anyone that surprised you?
I think there's a lot of positive response, and there's also negatives. Like, oh, what do they have to be mad about? What are they doing? Like, this is SMU. You're in a great spot, or But I think the general consensus was like, this is a good thing, and like certain things need to happen, things need to change, and I think a lot of SMU wanted to be a part of that change, especially in the athletic department. Rick Hart and a bunch of people in those monthly and biweekly meetings definitely sat down, and we came up with concrete plans to help student athletes and students in the university.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, SMU, I feel the change sometimes on SMU's campus too. They're working hard.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes for sure. Okay, so diving into details, one of the projects that you and other student athletes have done is school supplies and backpack drives to help local teachers and students. Why was that important to you?
So important, because I feel like education is really the base of, where we're at, and bad education can, can make bad roots, and bad roots make bad trees. So I think that is really important for kids to have the tools to be educated. And, when you influence the elementary school level, high school averages for graduation go up. So I think it all starts with that, like K through 5 or K through 8 range. And I think that, that's a big focus for us. And once we're able to work with high school kids, I think that would be really great too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Education is the foundation of the American dream. I stand by that. I love it. I absolutely love it. Speaking of education, you are currently working on a new back to school backpack drive with the Denton Collective?
Yeah, Detente Collective. Yeah.
There we go, Detente Collective. Thank you. That will happen July 26th to July 30th. Right. Tell us about that event and how people can help.
Yeah, so each backpack is around $40. So really donating school supplies, donating, donations and stuff like that would really help. Just like keep that along. We're thinking about adding a drive-through where we end up in a stationary place and we have people just drive through and drop off their supplies. And yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing that go. We're hoping to get around 200 backpacks out. Our internal goal is 1,000, but I like to shoot high, and anything lower than that is good enough.
Absolutely. That's so motivating. I'm excited to see that too. So speaking of people who saw it, I saw that you received recognition from the mayor of Dallas for the work that the student athletes at SMU have done in the community. How was that?
Yeah, well, you were a big part of that too, so I appreciate that. It was insane. It was cool getting in touch with you and then getting in touch with Mayor Johnson's office. and just getting that recognition, it really helped us kind of get a jump start, and we got moving a lot faster than I think a lot of new organizations do. And I think it added a little bit of a sense of, I guess, like reputation to us, so people knew a little bit more about who we were and that we had worked with certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier, like right before you jumped on, I was talking about, and we'll jump into the Supreme Court ruling that would lead to changes in NIL regulations. And as a law student at SMU, I loved reading about this. And as a student athlete, can you share with me your feelings when you heard the changes on NIL and what may be happening with that?
I mean, just excitement. I even think that was the general feeling. People just being really excited and really ready to get to work and really ready to like make something outside of athletics and even inside, like being able to use the skills that you get from athletics to be like, oh, maybe I should do like a camp for little kids. Maybe I should throw a free camp. I think Shane Haley and a few guys like that threw like a free camp for kids, and they just had them out there having fun, and they got to use their name, image, and likeness to promote. Some people are getting back into art, DJing, working on their own album covers and stuff like that. So I think that a ton of people are just ready to use the skills that they've already had, and now they're able to, profit or use those skills to help people.
Absolutely. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I hope that our live stream can see the art that is on the screen right now. It's just incredible. Okay. In real terms, how did the NIL changes make a difference for student athletes? There have been stories about some student athletes signing big endorsement deals, the twin basketball players in California, for example. But for the average student athlete, how has the NIL rule changed or helped?
Yeah, I honestly think it helps the average student athlete a lot too. Or like if you know how to market yourself or brand yourself, then I think it can help you a ton. One thing about NIL, I think it can be used in a ton of different ways. I don't think it's just sponsorships or brand deals. I think it's like, oh, I can start whatever I wanted to do later. Now I can start that company. I can work out the kinks. I can fail a little bit. I have room to fail instead of trying to start at 23, 24, whenever I get out of school. So yeah, I think it can help. I think it helps people who can take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope our student athletes who are listening are taking notes on that. That is very, very important. Take advantage of this new opportunity that's been presented to you guys. So I love that. You are an amazing artist, and after the NIL rule changes, you started selling your art. Can you share with our viewers why you couldn't sell your art until the changes in the NCAA rules? I think it's important that we all understand what the old system was like.
Yeah, so for me, since I was selling art in high school, I kind of had room to already have things made. But after high school, I had to separate my accounts and have like completely different, I guess, like identities. So when it came to selling art, I had to do business all through one page, but I couldn't have any of my images on there. If I used my name, it was just my signature. It couldn't be like, oh, this is RaSun Kazadi, the football player. It had to be, this is RaSun Kazadi, the artist. No football pictures, no anything. Kind of hard to tell if it was even the same person because my face wasn't on there at all. It was mostly just pictures of the art. But now I can kind of leverage my my student athlete persona and just use everything that I do anyway. What I do every single day to sell my art too. So now having a website, being able to sell it just straight up, like, hey, here's a link, here's all the art. Now I can share it. Before I wasn't able to share it. So, if you're not sharing where you're selling, you're not going to get very many sales. So
yeah, absolutely. How big of a role does football and athletics play in your art? Like, do you find yourself painting and doing art that's very reflective of your athletic career, or do you try to keep it separate?
Like I said, I think it's one of the same. I don't think I'm ever like, especially now, I don't think I have to be like RaSun Kazadi, the football player, or RaSun Kazadi, the artist. I think I can be just me, RaSun Kazadi, Kazadi, and function as that guy. But I think like just the attention to detail plays a big part in the painting. Same as football. really committing to the art and making sure that I'm putting out a good product. Same as football, you have to be able to produce. So it's the same thing, same hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What do you say to current K through 12 students who are looking to go to college as a student athlete, and what should they start planning for as it relates to NIL rule changes?
Man, I think that just try to figure out who you are and what you do well. And if you want to pick up a skill, I'd say do that as soon as possible. Use the connections that you make. Use your teammates, help your teammates. Use your coaches, ask them for help, ask them what they did well, and ask them what they didn't do so well. Use your professors, just use the resources around you. Honestly, that's really it. Just make sure that you're taking advantage of the situation you're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Networking and the village. I love it. Absolutely love it. You guys take notes.
Exactly.
Like I keep saying, this conversation has a lot of pearls of wisdom. Take notes. Okay. So to continue, what is next for you, RaSun? Will you pursue a football career after college? You've been such a great activist in Dallas. Any thoughts on running for office in the future?
Yeah, wow. I haven't even thought about that. I'm not sure if people want me to run for office, but yeah, I think I'm all about just going with the flow, like trying as hard as you can in the moment, and whatever happens, happens. Because as long as you're putting in the work, and as long as you really, you're not faking it, and you're really grinding, and you're really hustling, and you're really being efficient, I feel like you can't be mad at the result. I think that you live and you learn, you win and you learn. So that's really it. Hopefully, a lot of football is left for me, and a lot of art is left for me. But right now, it's all about the now.
Yeah, I love that. That's so important. I think a lot of times people spend so much time and energy planning for their future, they miss out on the now and investing in now. So I think that that's really important to recognize, and I appreciate that you said that. And also, a quick side note really quickly, guys, go check out his art and his pages, and support him if you can. Like, that's just even likes and shares and comments like that is fantastic support, and you should. It's all beautiful, and he's an awesome football player, an awesome activist. So just had to put that plug in really quickly. But for the final question, what will our record be this year? Will there be more turnover parties for the SMU defense? I'm looking forward to being able to go back to watching games this year.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a ton. It's gonna be really exciting. We're gonna have a really good team, and it's gonna be a grind of a schedule. But I think we're gonna make a lot of people happy, or a lot of folks mad. So I think that is gonna be really good.
I agree. I'm really looking forward to it. Well, thank you, RaSun, for taking time to join me today and talk about student activism and the changes in the NCAA NIL rules.
Yeah, no problem. Pleasure to have you.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see how you tackle future advocacy opportunities, and we will all be cheering for you in the bleachers as we watch you continue on your life journey and watch your career take off.
Appreciate you. I'll be cheering for you too. Cheering for you on the sideline.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys, that was fantastic. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that fantastic conversation. Okay, as usual, we will close out our show with a segment called Zooming In. Let's take a look at who's being magnified for being magnificent. Speaking of potential rule changes, there are things happening in Texas and many other states that would dramatically change the rules for the way we are able to vote. As you know, history in our nation is that young people don't vote. Well, I think Gen Z started to change that in 2020, and I know there's a lot of awareness and energy to vote in 2022 and 2024. But this week, we saw firsthand what bad policy looks like with the chaos in Texas. The proposal to restrict voting got so bad that members of the Texas House of Representatives had to leave Texas to stop bad ideas from becoming laws. Texas Democrats stage walkout to kill voting bill. In Texas, the governor called for a special session, a bill that suppresses voting rights and a bill that disallows teachers to teach the truth via critical race theory were presented during the special session. The hearing for the voter suppression bill lasted around 24 hours because so many witnesses testified, and even still, it passed out of committee. This made Democrats take a stand, literally. Get this quote from the Wall Street Journal. Democrat House members said they were boarding chartered airplanes bound for Washington, D.C., where they hoped to draw national support for their fight against the bills. At least 59 of the body's 67 Democrats were expected to participate in the walkout, according to a source familiar with the plans. But the final number may not be known until the House is called to order Tuesday morning. The legislators will have to remain out of state for weeks to avoid voting during the 30-day legislative session, which Republican Governor Greg Abbott called after a previous walkout by Democrats shortly before a voting deadline. It killed the legislation at the end of the body's regular session in May. The bill that was considered in May would have set some of the nation's broadest restrictions on voting. While this is happening in Texas, it is happening in other states too. Our ability to vote is being attacked across our nation. Gen Z members, we should care about this because these efforts to restrict our ability to vote will be with us for our entire lives if we don't speak out now. Your Zoom call to action? Find ways to support efforts to protect our right to vote. Go on social media and support it. Create, like, comment, and share posts so others know and can also get involved. Help spread this message. You can find ways to intern or volunteer for elected official staff or for organizations that are doing this work. There are amazing organizations out there that are making sure our right to vote is not being taken from us. A group like Move Texas is just an example, just one example, of an organization that is working to protect the voting rights of Gen Z members in Texas. There are others around the nation, and you should find one in your community or state that you can support. Every minute helps, especially during such intense and controversial times. Okay, now take a deep breath. Now it is episode 8 of Zooming In with Gen Z that is wrapping up. Thanks so much for joining today on this fantastic Saturday. Please like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe for more. Plus, when you do that, it allows others to check out our conversations too. In 2 weeks, we will be back here at 2 p.m. Central Time with a top-notch interview and some news worth sharing. A shout out of thanks to Citizen Ed for providing us with this platform to talk about the issues we care about. See you guys in 2 weeks. All right, how do I zoom out on this thing?